Hi, I'm here on a Sunday with my daughter Lily. We're going to do another lettering video. And this one, I'm going to show you my number 6 liner and my number 6 quill. You can see the difference in the brushes. They both have a chisel tip. One of them's thinner and longer, and the other one's a little bit more stubby. I also brought one of the big guns out. This is a 12 quill. It's for a much larger letter, for doing race cars and such. I have one black one-shot with some of my smooth stroke in it. Eliminates fisheye, gloss and flow enhancer. I'm using a glossy Signs of the Times is what I like to cut in half and use as a palette because it's a glossy format. Let's try this one first. I have a lowercase alphabet laid out on one of these practice boards, and I'm hoping that I'm at the right angle to letter this. If you're not, you can always change your angle. You should be very comfortable when doing this kind of stuff. But with the videos that we've been doing, it's been encouraging people to do some hand lettering, and they're having a lot of fun with it. I'm going to load the brush right up to the ferrule, and I see I have some paint on my finger, so I'm going to take that off because we always need to keep our hands clean. I want to keep the paint out of my hands as much as possible. Every time you lay your finger down on a vehicle or whatever you're lettering, you're going to leave some paint. We don't want to do that. We just want to leave the paint in the areas. Now for these purposes, I'm doing the lettering. I am by no means a sign painter. I have friends like Alton Gillespie and John Hannicane and Phil Whetstone, and I could go on and on about the guys that know how to letter. If a guy like me, I do most of my lettering at motorcycle shows, but if a guy like me can move these brushes around like I'm going to show you, then you can do it too. I have a little bit of blues playing in the background. Let's start with the A, and I'm going to start over here. Put the brush down on its side. So then I'm going to get my chisel tip. You can see the chisel. And I'm going to start the B. And just with a flick of the brush you can bring it up. So I'm going to connect these just for the purpose of this demo. And this gets a loop at the top and a loop at the very top. And there's your B. You can make so much money at a motorcycle show or a car show. There's a C and a D. We're going to start the D the same way as the A. A little more paint here. You guys that are just starting out, take it soft and slow. There's a D. Now I still charge what I've been charging for 30 years, is $10 per name. And I do real well in Joe's and Bob's, and gonna have to bite the bullet on Aloysius. Not that I've ever lettered Aloysius, but A, B, C, D, E. And I'm going to turn it, just pick it up. F, you don't come as high as the B or the D. And don't get me wrong, pardon me, you'll develop your own style. This is I don't consider this to be my fast script, but it sure is a useful one. Next video we'll do some uppercase script stuff for you so you can get going. Okay, so I'm going to get that chisel tip going again. I'm going to put an H. What's very important is the slant of your letter. If they're not the same, it's going to jump out and bite you. I've never had a lesson, and you don't really need to have a lesson either. Just pick it up and start going. There's an H. Is the angle okay? I. So I'm going to turn the brush over. Rather than get a chisel tip, I need to do a I think I'm just going to put the J in. You see that little thing right there you can take out. I don't know if I can I think I can get the K in here. Got some great comments from the Chicago Brush Masters. Also, all of my friends over in Southern California love these lettering brushes. There's 20 sizes, 10 quills, 10 liners. Should be able to tackle any lettering job with this set. Now an L. I'll show you a fast script with, I'll pick up the liner brush and show you a really fast script too. M. Now to make the bottom of the letter, you can either run a piece of tape, and the stuff that I use for tape is just very cheap fine line invisible tape from Scotch. Works great. LMN. O. Now I'm going to get away from these lower parts of the other letters. P. Q. Kind of bear down here and just bring it over a little bit. There's an R. I'm going to palette some more. And when you're playing this back, play it back slowly so you can see the strokes. The S, start at the tip, bear down, come back around. And you can do this in one move. And we can slide a T in here. This is just for purposes of demonstration. I'm not trying to write a sign or any of that stuff. Now I've been, as far as charging for this stuff, to do a name I get $10. And I'll show you why when I pick up that liner brush. A lot of guys are getting more money. I'm going to get my chisel back on the side of this U. I had a guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but he's pretty well known in the sign industry. STUV, that's supposed to be, I've just put an S in. So we're going to take that out. And what I use on these practice boards is a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. This will be part of the lesson. I really do know my alphabet. See how I can wipe that with no streaking? Put that in your memory banks the next time you want to do a, like if you're doing a stripe line and you want to intersect the lines and you cross over like that. Just a lot simpler. When you use the alcohol, it doesn't streak. Got a dirty towel, but and what you do have to worry about is the alcohol laying on the board and you trying to letter over it, because that will not work. STUV. Look like this. V. W. STUVW. The X is kind of a neat letter. They're all kind of neat letters, I mean, let's face it, but I'm going to do a Diagonal stroke like that. And you can either come off the tip of the W and bring it in. And for these purposes, I've got this extra line in here. This is just to show you the options. Now you come across like this. You can actually put a little hook on the end. Now I got a Y. It's a real pretty letter. You have a nice lower part of this letter that you can play with. And when you're lettering somebody's motorcycle, you want to make it real special. Usually you're putting the guy's and the girl's name on it, or their last name. But you can come around. There's a million variations on these letters, so pick the ones that you really like. And like I said, you put one of these in the hands of Bob Bahonik or somebody like that, and they're going to make me look like an amateur. I can make money this way, and so can they. Now that's the number. This one here I'm going to show you is a number 6 liner. This one is a quill, and it's much shorter. You can see it's at least a 1/4 of an inch shorter, and it's got a different hair design. I'm going to leave that one there. Normally I would clean it right up, but I'm going to take this liner, and I already did Lily's name on one of these, but if I have any semblance of a line down here, what I'll do is I'm going to do the word script. And for this I'd get $10. So I'm going to show you just how quick this goes. This brush is, like I tell everybody, these brushes will give you wings. They just enable you to do stuff that you never thought you'd be able to do. See, my angles are the same. Monty Roach left about a week ago, and I'd been working with him on lettering, and he picked it right up. And like I said last time, the reason I'm doing this is, number one, I want to show you a new product that we have that I've been working on for 4 years, and nobody else is doing it. There's a variation on a dot. There's the word script. You can maybe fatten this up a little bit. You can see how fast that was done. Now you do it much smaller, and you have to do it smaller with a little bit smaller size brush. If you guys have any questions, you can go to my site, put in steve@cooltie.com, and Cooltie's with a K. It's a product that we make. There's the word liner. That's all for right now. If you have any questions on this, I highly recommend you try this because the money is phenomenal. The feeling of accomplishment is incredible for a young striper or an old guy. If you don't do lettering, try these brushes. They will give you wings. All my brushes will give you wings. You have a nice day and stripe on.